funding model, a pain in many people's heads. I won't say the other thing. But well, Miss K, picture this. There's a parent who's sponsoring a kid. Not her kid, not her child. Sponsoring. And also, there is his own children.
Right.
Will that person, because he's able to sponsor that particular student from a needy family, will automatically be put on band 5 by virtue of your being sponsored?
Well,
it begs more question than answers, right?
right.
And Kagina's conversation really set the pace for this discussion, and I'm just wondering, if you are given a chance to redesign this particular model, what will you do? You know?
Right. Also, Linda, the guy over there, he spoke so well, and he said, watu wanainama in the universities, they're missing meals, right? Akasema pia the amount they are given for help, 20,000, ukiamua uitumie kwa fees, unabaki with nothing. Na bado, hautafanya exams because you've not cleared your fees. So imagine, umeinama, na bado ufanye exams. So you're not
with the cost of living.
What are we doing? Right,
well,
right.
Allow me to just ask this gentleman right here, if you're to redesign the model, what would you omit and what would you add in this particular model?
The mic is over here.
Yes.
Then we'll give a chance to
So personally,
later.
if I'm in a position of power to redesign help, number one, or the first step I'll do is to reduce the cost of these programs. I was doing a rough mathematics. A lawyer requires or needs 2 million shillings to be able to do law into completion. Furthermore, medicine, you require 2.8 million shillings to be able to do medicine into completion. So the first one is to reduce the cost of programs, so that even if I'm funding these students with this help, the core value or the core principle for help is to ensure that education is accessible to all without discrimination. And that is what I'll do personally. But if you look at the current new funding model, it is like wanalipisha deni. The free education we got in primary education ni kama wanalipia hiyo deni in campus.
Fikiria sana.
It's not good.
Ume-overthink.
Ame-overanalyze.
Well, allow me to just ask him, right, because he's just next to me.
Right.
Okay.
If you were to redesign this particular model, what is the good, the bad, and the ugly for you?
Okay, my name is Nicholas Kiplagat. For me, if given a chance, there is nothing like redesigning. I'll scrap it off completely.
Why?
Because it is very discriminatory. Why am I saying so? This model focuses so much on socio-economic indicators of the people. It focuses so much, I think someone who came up with that model actually has got a very big, robust appetite for the salaried people. Because, you see, you get that anyone in a family, you can get in a family, one person is salaried, but that person educates around 5 people. So that model does not focus, does not help someone who has got a job. Number 2, it is very discriminatory because, like my friend there had said, that it classifies students according to their background. So, in short, it advertises the background of where that students come from. So lastly, this model has got it is flawed and shambolic because it has got no scientific basis. What has it been used? Because you can currently, that person who is in band 5 should be in band 1. That person who is in band 1 is in band 5. I can give you an example. I have a nephew who studies at Maseno University. He does law. This nephew has got the parents are not working, but he has been placed in band 5. He told me today, because I had a talk with him today, he told me he has got a classmate whose father or whose uncle is the governor of a certain county, but is in band 1. So that tells you there is nothing which has been used to choose to place this person in band 1, band 2, or 3. It has got no scientific basis. So in short, I'll not remodel it. I'll scrap it off completely.
Well, thank you so much, Miss K. I don't know
Linda, yes.
what that panelist has to say in regards to this. Would you scrap it, or what are the things that you think you would redesign?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Ronald Ochieng Lila, and this issue of the new funding model, if you'd ask me what would I do if I was given a chance to redesign the new funding model, I'll simply disband it. I'll disband the new funding model so that we can go to the old model. Okay. First, we have this thing called the means testing instrument. What I've been asking myself for quite some time is it a machine, an AI machine? Is it someone? Is this MTI somebody sitting from a place and being like, okay, this is a person, this is the condition of the family background, what? And then, my real worry here is that if most of us, from the look of things, I've realized that most of us here are placed in band 5. Then this MTI is not working because it's reverse. Or maybe the person placed there to work on the MTI is not doing the right thing. Maybe they have take someone who maybe did something else and placed in a scientific place whereby they are dealing with this MTI and they don't know what to do. So we find out that this MTI is not quite reliable. Okay. On this issue, okay. I have a cousin who is placed in band 5. In band 5, yeah. And looking at things, the parents are peasants. I can say peasants. You know, peasants now.
They're not well off.
Not well off. Yeah. So you find that when you place them into the band 5, you are definitely killing the family, because how else? There are other siblings who will be depending on this help. And now that, okay, that means that the parent will have to pay, is it 40% of the salary? What if the salary is less than 20,000? Because most peasants, you find out that they can only raise hand to mouth. They have hand to mouth job. That's the thing they are running. So if you put them in band 5, that means that they are really straining to educate the children.
So is your cousin in school as we speak?
Yes, right now. And I'm talking because...
And how is he surviving then?
That is where we are now. Survival, so means that she will definitely have to use the money to pay the school fee. And again, in university, you cannot sit for exam when you have not finished the school fee. And if this help is to be given 20,000 or something less than that, you find out if you pay this, okay. The courses also vary with the fee. Some courses are over 300,000, and you find out that the government is paying a certain amount. You find that we have the household contributions, we have the loans, and we have the government contributions in terms of the stipend. If this money, which was given in terms of help, now used to pay the school fees, you know, the comrade there is going to be like, they are going to be hungry. They are eating nothing because the money is already used to pay the school fees. And then this calls for this new funding model to be disbanded, because it is banding. They are doing what is called banding. We are going to disband it so that we goes to the old form of help disbursement. Okay. By the way,
as you wrap up.
As I wrap up,
What a familiar
I
way.
wish we had the time. I wish we had
yes,
time.
yes.
Okay, I'll rush. Looking into it, you know, I've been following closely this thing because, you know, this help belongs to us, and we demand for it. We are not requesting the government to give it to us. Okay, so the last time I checked, when the court dropped and then said that the people should appeal, I checked on the help status. It was said allocated, and the amount allocated is not the amount which was the amount which was allocated is not amount which she received in M-Pesa.
Thank
The
you.
amount was so huge.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Linda.
Imani, quickly, would you briefly tell us, would you redesign this or would you disband it?
I would disband it.
Whoa.
And I feel like I think as a population, as citizens, tunachezwa, because if we just break down carefully, band 5, of 120,000. We are clearly looking at anyone who's earning, most people earning above 120,000 do not have one child.
Right.
What are they using to pay their rent? What are they using to pay their bills? What is the government expecting for this person to remove from their pocket to pay fees when their rent is 60,000 because they have 6 kids? Ata hana nyumba yake, ata hana gari. Mnataka mtu achukue over a 80, probably akope, ndo alipe fees. Tunabebwa ujinga because the government knows this is impossible. Then how do they even bring it publicly to the people? It's not making sense to me who sat down and agreed, by the way, if you're earning 120K, you should be able to pay. It's not making sense.
Do you feel like this will hamper even the duration at which you're supposed to be completing
Yes,
university?
it will hamper to complete, it will hamper to enter, it will hamper to even exist in the university. Kuinama already is hard. I can't even do my exams if I haven't completed the fees. Where am I getting the money from? Where is the money coming from? The economy looks as it is. I can't even buy bread.
So Imani, what are we telling the president? Unajua alikuwa pale kwa mlima akasema this is a victory for him, you know, that Court of Appeal imesema iende. Is it really a victory for him, according to you?
It's not a victory. It is not a victory because let us understand this, that genuinely speaking, the problem is where the government is getting the money from to pay for education. And we can understand that our country is in economical problems. But we can see people like Rigiji last year, what was it, remodeling his house with 650 million Kenyan shillings.
Right.
So isn't the problem allocation of the funds? Where are we prioritizing our funds if we can't have education at the top, because these are our futures? If we can't have our health at the top, where are our funds? Where is the money going to, if not to our futures? Because I think genuinely, if we have a whole deputy president spending 650 million Kenyan shillings to remodel his house, but we're asking the person who's earning 6,000 to pay for fees.
Make it make sense, right?
Make it make sense.
Kagida, we want to throw it to you, yeah? Na ni kama ukuwa anasema gava imebant. I don't know if your panelists think the same.
Well, all right. Let me
And
start.
also, Kagina asked them whether they would redesign this.
Very important.
All right, let's start from there. Joseph, would you redesign? If you would redesign, what would you fix?
Okay, thank you very much, Kagina. I will start from where Ms. K has said something to do with government imebant. Imebant because they're allocating, they're not prioritizing their funds correctly. Where do they say that somebody who cannot sustain himself in the university be placed in a band that cannot help him at all? So if I myself, I were the person who was given that opportunity to do Samu Karabati in the funding model and the so doing, education should be free. That's the only thing that I should say. It can be free only if the government prioritizes itself, its expenditures very well and its economic plans. The whole process, everything to do with the education should be free. Why am I saying that? From the statistics, our CS, Ministry of Finance, Mr. John Mbadi, says every day that Kenya loses 2 billion. He says that it is in the records, media doesn't lie. 2 billion per day. 2 billion per day is a total of 60 billion in a month. Now tell me, education help, issues of help that we are having the other day that students were not yet given their help. Help only requires, 34 billion. And they say plus the fees, plus what the UFA gives the student, the UF gives the student in terms of fees, it is 80 billion. Now, in a month, we have lost 80 billion. We have lost 60 billion. And we require 80 billion to do with education. Why can't they try? And Mbadi, the solution that Mbadi gives is that when we are embezzling 2 billion, let us now cut it off to 1 billion. Very archaic way of thinking and looking for solutions. So the only way we can do this, let us structure ourselves inside the government itself. Let Mr. President William Samoei Ruto structure your own government and try your level best. Make education to be free. That is when history will be very happy with you. Education can be free. And another thing again, before finishing, what the government is doing, back in my village, we will say that sauti ya wengi ni sauti ya nani? Ya Mungu. Why is it that the government is forcing us into something that we don't want? The judiciary has said that new funding model is unconstitutional. And the executive has really entered into us, infringed the operation of the judiciary. And now we have the executive, it's the same judiciary. Judiciary has become a jurispresa. Legislature itself cannot also make good decisions. So we are saying this. We have seen those trends. The judiciary saying that something is unconstitutional, then after some well-given time, it becomes constitutional. So which precedents are those? What are we following? I'm a legal counsel. I'm a lawyer. I know I will be a lawyer. Because but if they don't reduce the fees, I don't know where I will go to. But the point is, things that have been declared unconstitutional, let us not force them to become constitutional. The issue even to do with the affordable housing, such issues, they became constitutional. So don't force us to do this. President William Samoei Ruto, you are also once a beneficiary of government system in supporting education. What you are doing is like you are removing a bridge after you have crossed to the other side, in which you are going to be like a wizard. You are going to be like Murogi. Tunakata hiyo maneno.
Well, Danaro, what would you fix?
Kagina, if the government doesn't want to understand numbers, doesn't want to understand figures, then let it understand impact. This new university funding model is a funding model that was sold to us on the basis of equity, reforms for equity and help. But in reality, it's basically sold to us and providing us with exclusivity and exclusion for very many people. This university funding model is pointing to us that if you're only rich, that's when you're going to get any opportunities. If you're only rich, that's when you're going to access any of these spaces. As it is right now, even those who want to claim that they are rich are still slightly struggling as it is. That's a fact. This economy is biting even the rich ones. Those who can cushion themselves are being told that this funding model is only for them. What about me? What about you? What about them? What about how who's listening to me? The reality as it stands right now, Kagina, is that this new university funding model should be disbanded. Everybody has pointed out where money is. We're even telling you here the solutions. I mean, come on, seriously. We cannot take you to the river and then still force feed you and make you swallow it and understand that that's what is needed for us to be better. It doesn't work like that. The government needs to see that killing education right now as a priority in our country is going to widen a very huge generational gap. And it doesn't only affect the students, the government should be clearly understanding of that. That not only the students who are going to be messed up with this funding model, even the parents, and not most probably, but factually, even the universities. If the university staff and faculty suffer, these university staff and faculty are the ones who still pay and help the government in running these institutions and everything out here in the education ministry. If they are messed up, so are we. So in the end, these are a whole hubbub of problems that you want to introduce to everybody. Disband it and let us focus on fixing the initial model that was there. That's my advice.
All right, Joseph, there's something that you mentioned on segregation, or rather classism, dividing people along the bands that they belong to. How do you think this can be fixed?
We can actually, what I was saying about the issue to do with making everybody to be the same. Education is one of the factors that are trying to make people to be the same. That is why even in high school, even in primary, people are on uniform, but in university it's a bit different. But now when it comes to issues of supporting education in university, everybody needs to be the same. Even the last funding model, the latter one, you saw students were placed the same. There was no issue of subdividing them or grouping them according to whenever they come from. So the only way this can be done is by making sure that it has been leveraged and kila kitu kawekwa the same way. And lastly, education can be free. Nothing else like bringing, I don't know, bands or nini. Education can be free.
All right, Danaro?
Closing remarks. You can't claim to introduce this new university funding model as a reform to the education sector and then actually exclude and provide a lot of exclusion to majority of the people out there. That is not reforms. That's injustice as it is. The government needs to see that these kids, these youth out here, they are the face of today as it stands, not tomorrow anymore, today as it stands. You pushing us down and telling us that we cannot make it and holding and gatekeeping every access we need for us to make it in life is not fair to us as a generation. What do they want us to remember them for? Oppression of the youth?
All right. Well, indeed, those are some of the sentiments from Danaro here and Joseph, just weighing in on the issue of the new university funding model. Linda, you've heard some of the solutions that they've provided, and probably even as I hand over, because I don't think this will be coming back to me, they say media is the society's watchdog. And here on Gen Z Manifesto, we will not stop barking. We may not bite, but we will not stop barking until the society is entirely fixed. And on the issue of help, we've had this as the second discussion of the topic. And I hope that those who are supposed to hear, those who have ears, let them hear what the people have to say.
Well, you know, Kagina, what Martin right here said, the governments gave them free education, free primary education. Then when it got to the university, they had to pay. That sounded so much like a bitter ex who wants to take back what he gave you or what she gave you. That's a bitter ex right there. Do you agree with me, Ms. K? But well, even
Totally.
before we conclude, I mean, one last quote for me. Education is not preparation for life. It is life itself. Kill education, you kill these lives. My
Thank you
name is Linda Koske.
Thank you so much, Linda. You have really given us wisdom tonight to finish this show. And I will give my own sentiments as we close the show tonight, yeah? Here are my 2 cents. You see, you may go ahead with the gimmicks of impeaching and firing whoever in government, allegedly giving too much power to your subordinates, launching already launched projects, allegedly paying people to clap and give you shangwe na vigelegele. Truly, the bar is indeed in the gutters. But gambling with education is where we should agree to draw the line. The comrades, the main stakeholders of this project, have continuously raised concerns over this model. You finally decided to do things constitutionally and called for public participation, but gave comrades little time for this. Well, to whoever it may concern, yeah, consider this show tonight a true, unbiased, raw, and unfiltered public participation. The comrades say the new university funding model haiwezi. So, kazi kwenyu wakuu. I rest my case. That's it from us today. I'm Miss Kahiro, and this has been the Gen Z Manifesto. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Good night.
Meg TV, Muthegi wa Rũrĩrĩ.